Have you ever wondered what it takes to actually shoot fishing YouTube videos, or just to get out on the water and to be able to shoot your own fishing trips, send them to family members, or even to post them online, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, so on and so forth? In today's video, I'm going to go over everything that I use so far to date. And now this is a beginner's guide, guys. I am a 3-year-old channel, a very small channel, and we're doing things a little bit differently than, say, somebody with a cameraman walking around with a DSLR. So today's video is going to be centralized around the beginner starting out, growing and planting that seed to get out on the water and to go video and capture footage of them catching fish, and then later take it home and edit it and then post it on some sort of social media platform. Welcome back to another Walking on Water tutorial. In today's tutorial, we are going to go over everything you need step by step to get out on the water or to start your own fishing YouTube channel. Let's get right into it, guys. All right, guys. So the first things first, you could go watch a million different videos on this exact topic that we're going to talk about here today. Now, there is one particular video that I watched. I forgot the channel name, but he's a bass fisherman, and he utilizes a DSLR camera as well as, you know, the GoPros, the action cams, and so on and so forth. But we're a beginner's guide, okay? And so we're going to talk about 3 basic things that you really need to make sure that you have a successful video. That doesn't mean people are going to click on it and watch it, because the algorithm is going to do that for you. But to have a successful video, you're going to need 3 things, and we're going to start out with the cameras, guys. All right, guys. So in front of me, as you can tell, I have 3 GoPros right here, and the one that I'm videoing with right now is actually a GoPro 12 that I picked up this year, as well as this one's a GoPro 12 as well. But when I started out, I had one GoPro 10. That's all I had, one GoPro 10. I had a kayak, and I mounted it on the front of the kayak with a ram mount, and it was just shot facing back at me as the camera is right here. And every time I was catching a fish, it would capture the wide range of me out there on the water actually catching a fish. Now, I know DJI is making action cameras as well, and they are actually progressing very fast with their action cameras, and the sensors are great as well. But I've used GoPro for so long, it's hard for me to want to make that switch just yet, but I have been doing a little bit of research on it so far. But now that you see 3 cameras in front of me and then the 4th one on the tripod right now, like I said, started out with 1. Now I have 4. And why do I have 4 now? Is just simply so I can capture more angles and more dynamic shots on the water. The 2 GoPro 10s now, which I'll show you guys here in just a little bit on my boat, how I have everything set up. But I like the GoPro 10s running all the time so they can capture the hits of the fish themselves. So when I do get a fish on and the rod starts wah, 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 this camera right here is right on the rod the whole entire time, running continuously all day long, so we never miss absolutely anything. We're going to talk about batteries and everything else here in a second, but let's continue on with the cameras. As well as the second GoPro 10 is on the opposite side of the boat, so each side of the boat facing back towards the rods, so every time a fish comes up and wah, 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 I have those hits that I can load up into my video and then put a little zoom on it or zoom out, vice versa, and make that hit look even better, okay, guys? And so then we have the chest GoPro, okay? So my 2 most important shots for me in videoing while fishing is one camera being the main camera that is capturing everything, so it can see everything that you're doing throughout the whole entire day. And that camera has to be going continuously. Along with the hit rods cameras, these 2 need to be running continuously as well, guys. But the chest GoPro, guys, so the chest GoPro is a whole different ball game, right? I don't leave my chest GoPro running the whole entire time, and this where user error can kind of come into play when you have a fishing channel. I run the batteries inside my GoPro 12, and then I just simply click it on, okay? So as you can see, there's a delay. So as soon as I get a fish on, I'm clicking it, it's on, it's running, and that's literally how I'm going about my chest GoPro. You can leave a chest GoPro running, and we'll talk about batteries here in a second like I talked about prior, but I moved to this method this year just simply because when I'm driving somewhere, I use my chest GoPro to shoot my B-roll out the car. When I'm driving somewhere, I use my chest GoPro to do the time lapse in the front. And when I'm on the boat, I also use my chest GoPro to capture me fighting a fish from the POV perspective when I get a fish on, if I remember to click the button. So that is where it comes into play. You do have to remember to click the button, but when you do, you get a lot of good footage from the GoPro itself. So when you get home, the reason I switched to not running the GoPro, the chest mounted GoPro all day, every single day, is simply because of the fact in post, when you start editing, then you have literally 10 hours, 13 hours of chest GoPro to sift through to find the fish, right? And so this allows me to just click the button on. I have short clips, one of each fish, all in a row. So when I get back home and I start editing my videos on Premiere Pro, then it's a lot easier for me to go about, you know, just throwing these clips into the video versus having to search for literally 3 or 4 hours to find every fish, label the video, and then put it into Premiere Pro, cut it down, and then move those segments. So this is exactly why I switched over to just using the single battery on the chest GoPro only. But guys, as you can see right here, another very important part for cameras and cameraing, this is my main GoPro right here. I'm aiming at it right here in the room. The back wall, as you can see, it's pure white. And on the GoPro itself is a media mod just like this one right here. That's because the second most important thing that you're gonna need to have a successful fishing channel or to even make a successful fishing video at all is the audio. Audio is very important, and without the media mod on the GoPro itself, with this little port right down here at the bottom, this little aux port, then I wouldn't be able to run my mic or my mic receiver with the GoPro. So that's a very important part. As you can see here, there's good audio in the room. I am using just a DJI mic, and I love this mic. The only thing, I do want to upgrade to the DJI Mic 2 simply because of the fact it has an 18-hour battery. This one has like a 4 or 5. And as you can see, I'm on a charger right now, but we will talk about batteries here in just one second. So the number 2 most important thing in my mind is mic and audio. And with this mic right here, you can walk anywhere you need to walk on your boat, or if you're sitting in a kayak, it's going to be within range of the receiver. And it's just a key important part of having audio on your boat, your kayak, or your bank fishing video, right? But I do think with the receiver itself, if you're running something like that on a kayak, I would honestly go a little bit different route. You can go to Sweetwater, and they have a bunch of different mic selections, but the only problem with those mics is they all internally record, which is fine, that's great, you won't ever lose your audio, but in post, when you go to edit, you're going to have to actually take those pieces of audio and match them to the video itself. So if you're not really comfortable with doing that, since this is a beginner course, the DJI mic or the DJI Mic 2 is a great way to start. Now, and so this is a very simplistic way to get yourself out on the water and successfully catch fish. Now, let's talk some things about these cameras that people don't really account for when they're looking to start a beginner YouTube channel when it comes to fishing, or just to go out and film while you're out on the water, okay? So, what is a major thing that can affect video footage, video quality, and your camera? What is a couple things, guys? First thing is rain. 100,000% rain will affect your cameras, as well as if you don't have something covering these, then you will literally have rain just washing down your lens constantly. And when you do get that fish on in the rain, if your lens is foggy, aka and wet, you're not really going to be able to see that hit as well as you would like to, and it is a little bit disappointing when you get home and you go to edit and you see the fact that, wow, I missed 3 hits because of the rain. But there is a solution to that, and I will tell you exactly what it is, and I will even link them in the description below. And they are little camera umbrellas like this one right here. So how I have mine, my camera is mounted on the side of the boat. They're mounted right here. The camera just goes on this mount like this. Loosen this up. Pop that up like that. Then you have your GoPro right here, and you have a little tiny umbrella covering it. Now, as well as rain, guys, I'll link this in the description below, guys. These little umbrellas, super cheap. They come from overseas. They do come from China, but they are a good little product and a trick that has taken me a long time how to figure out to mitigate some of these weather conditions when it comes to the GoPro. Now, if you've ever used a GoPro before or looked up GoPros, with the GoPro 10s in the summertime, another major weather condition that you can run into is just simply heat, right? I shoot everything that I shoot on 4K, and you have to take into account, even with the side plate completely off, and the battery pulled all the way out like this, and there's a breeze coming in, excuse me, once the weather turns to like 70 to 80 degrees, and that sun is beaming directly down, unless you have an umbrella covering it, absorbing all the UV, the ultraviolet rays, and the heat from the sun, this GoPro is 100% going to overheat. There's not one thing you can do about it. It will 100% overheat. And so last year, what I had to do, I had to make a case for a fan to run my main GoPro when I was on my kayak, because I couldn't just reach up and undo it because I had it on a ram mount, boom armed in front of the kayak looking back at me. So to actually be able to get to the GoPro, I had to fully take it all the way in, undo it, and then let it cool off. But with the umbrella, it actually mitigates a lot of the heat, and it will reduce overheating on the GoPro 10s immensely. Now, they said they have fixed the issue, GoPro, with the overheating with the 12, but I just got these in the early spring, winter time basically, and so I haven't really put them through the summer test yet. I'm only hoping that with the umbrellas up and that being the 12, that the 4K will run smoothly all day, every day through the summertime. So we have had a few little issues with the GoPro 12s so far, and we did reinstall all the firmware, so I'm hoping that solved the problem, guys. But let's continue on with mitigating rain and heat in the summertime. So rain and heat, small umbrellas, some kind of sunshade, and there's a million different things you can utilize. One time I was out on the water and it started raining really bad, and I only had a baggie and I had some rubber bands. So I cut a hole in the baggie, the square, and put it around the frame of the camera, like the frame of the actual camera lens. And I took the rubber bands and I tightened it around, and it worked perfectly fine. My mic still worked. I had the receiver, so the mic was working, the camera was still filming, and it worked out just fine. So there's a million different little things you can do to prevent your stuff from completely getting wet. And not only getting wet, it's a really big hassle to try to remember when you're tying up lures, tying up baits, casting, to go back and wipe off your camera lens every 10 seconds because it's raining, right? And so you get like one cast in, you have to turn around and go wipe it off. One cast in, go wipe it off. That's why these small umbrellas are so clutch in the rain and in the sun, guys. All right, guys, so let's start talking about batteries and how I actually make and maintain, my GoPro's battery life throughout the day, right? So with the side GoPros, I never run them, and with the 10s being the side GoPros and the overheating issue on the 4K setting, the biggest thing that I think that I've found is I never run them with these little batteries in there, ever. I leave them running all day. These batteries last 45 minutes, maybe an hour. And the brand new batteries they came out with, the long lasting ones, they don't really last that long either, guys. So it's one of those things to where it's like, you could run this, you have about an hour's worth of time, and you might catch a fish and you might not. But if you're on a long fishing trip and you're not catching a lot of fish, which every fisherman knows, they've been out on the water and they've struggled catching fish some days, and you see other people catching them. That doesn't mean you're going to catch them every single time, so you got to be prepared for those situations. And this is one thing that I didn't know when I was first starting out, and then I'm sharing with you guys, which, there's a lot of people a lot smarter than me, so maybe you already have it figured out. But you have to have external batteries, guys. This is an Anchor battery. I think it's like 20,000 something, I don't really know. This is an Anchor battery, and what I do know is I can plug this GoPro into this Anchor battery, and it will literally run me 16, 17 hours. And so I don't have to worry about my GoPro in one single day ever dying. And how I do that is I buy long USB-C cables, just like so. I plug it into the battery, and then I just simply plug it into the GoPro like this, and then I turn it on, okay? So now that we're hooked up to the battery, I'll have basically unlimited battery life throughout one single day, and then when I get home I can just simply go charge this battery up and go back out the next day and do a little bit more fishing. So batteries are super important, and I would suggest if you're going to run 4 GoPros, you need 4 of these, if not 5 or 6, just in case you're out there on a long day, you forget to charge one, so on and so forth. And now I know you're thinking, wow, those are $30, $40 a piece. The GoPros are, I mean, you could honestly say $300 a piece because I bought these when they were new, bought the 12s when they were new. And yes, I could have went with the DSLR for the price of everything that I'm getting here. But the problem is wind, weather, having somebody to operate it, you know, having it be stable enough in the boat, you know, on a tripod filming me. That's one camera, one perspective. But I know these are durable. I know they're waterproof. And with the cable in, these are water resistant. You can't drop it in the water, but the cable, there's a little rubber piece on this little side panel that I have right here. These little side panels right here are water resistant. They have a nice little rubber piece down there at the bottom. And so when that USB-C goes in there, just like this little part right here, this little lip and everything, kind of shears off the rain, and no rain is going completely sideways and it's sitting flat. So you're really safe here when you're talking about having the GoPro ran like this and you're still running in the rain. Also have the umbrellas over it, so it's protecting that from the rain as well. But I do bring gallon-sized Ziploc bags on the boat every time I go, just in case rain appears, so I can put my battery down in a bag, Ziploc it up, and then it's locked and loaded and you just don't have to worry about it. Okay, guys? So external batteries are the only way you're truly going to be able to go out there and capture your day and make a video fishing for a long period of time, unless you just literally bring 500 of these. But by the time you buy 500 of these, one of these will be cheaper. So you might as well just go with the bigger battery bank. Plus, you can charge your phone, other things, blah, 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 if you need to out while you're on the water. Super important. So I have 4 battery packs like this that I run all of my stuff off of. I have 2 extras. As you can see, my mic's plugged in right here. The DJI mic itself, the original DJI mic, actually dies very quickly. You're talking like 3 or 4 hours. So having an external battery for these is amazing as well. The receiver lasts for about 5 hours. So I do have a bunch of USB-C cables, probably like 5 or 6 that I keep on hand. So if I do need to plug in my receiver and my mic, they're always charged. Super important to have the battery life, guys, to go to maintain your goal for how long you're going to fish each day, and so you can be successful. Now, you might catch fish, but if you don't have the video footage to go back and upload to YouTube or Facebook or stuff like that, and that was your goal, then you're not really meeting your goal, you know what I mean? I love fishing. I'm an avid fisherman. I'm going to fish the rest, like as many days as I possibly can for the rest of my life until the day I die. But a big passion of mine is filming fishing. And so if I get home and I've messed up the filming, the audio or something like that, it's just very disheartening because I plan these trips based on, you know, my channel and what I'm looking for and what kind of fish I'm looking to go catch for the channel. And if I go out there and I don't have the right equipment, like the batteries or the USB-C cables, you know, then I'm not going to be able to do a good a job as I want to do and have the result that I'm going to have when I get back home and post and I go edit the video. So now that we've talked about the cameras, we've talked about the batteries, we've talked about the umbrellas, the weather, another thing that we have to go over and discuss are just the settings that I use on the GoPros themselves. And I run all my GoPros exactly the same, and I am no expert by any means on cameras or camera settings, point blank. What I do know is what has worked for me in the past on my YouTube channel. Like I said, it's very small still. Some people are like, oh, why would you listen to him? He's got 3,000 plus subs, whatever. And it's just because I've been doing this for long enough and I've struggled through certain situations that I had questions about and I had to go find out myself, because a lot of times there's not a ton of, you know, fishing channel research done, you know, by fishermen. And then the fishermen that do have fishing channels aren't really going over the items and the cameras and stuff like that and the settings that they're using. And so I run linear 4K on every single GoPro, standard linear 4K, And that's literally all I do every single time on every single GoPro. I don't like the fisheye effect. I don't like the extremely wide. I just run wide. No, I run standard. And then I also run linear to reduce the fisheye effect, or completely take out the fisheye effect actually on the GoPro itself. So my settings are cut and dry. I run 4K, I run standard, and it's linear, just so there's no fisheye. And then when there are dull days where the colors are dimmed down a little bit, in post, I'll go ahead, I'll throw some exposure in to lighten it up a tiny bit, or like change, like increase the, change the contrast a little bit to adjust the, you know, if the colors are looking a little bit dull in the clothing and so on and so forth. And then obviously you can go on to the higher detailed stuff down the list to make your video and your shot look even, you know, just that much better once you get home and post and you start editing that. So 4K, linear, and standard, and it's just the way I do it, and that's how I'm going to continue doing it until I learn a better way. But until then, I keep things relatively simple, and I think you should too, especially if you're just starting out. There's absolutely no reason to go out. And now, as this channel grows and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, please Lord God, please Lord God, please Lord God, then, you know, one day I'll have somebody that's holding a camera and we'll have the GoPros going and so on and so forth. But until that day, this is exactly how I'm going to run my setup, because it's the easiest to maintain. Now, another thing, guys, with all these cameras and the setup, everybody thinks, okay, yeah, we're going fishing. We're going to wake up at 4 in the morning and we're going to drive down to the water and let's just go fishing. Let's just do it. Let's just go fishing. Sounds good. Yeah. And when you're videoing and you're making a fishing video, so on and so forth, you got to get down to the water. You need to have all your gear set up the day before, but you can't leave your cameras in your boat while you're driving there. I wouldn't, at least, just my personal opinion. And so you get down to the water, you set up all your GoPros, so on and so forth, and then that takes time as well. So you're looking at 25, 30 minutes of camera and mic setup once you get down to the water each day, just so you can be successful out there, making sure all your cameras and videos are working when you're catching those fish, guys. So let's take a quick trip out to the garage really fast, and I'll show you just the mounts that I have that I use, and just a quick rundown of what the boat looks like, so you guys can see what all the cameras are actually mounted on. And these are my mounts that I use for my GoPros right here. So simply, these are just Scotty rod holder mounts. As you can see, I mounted them to the side of the boat right here. And up to just a GoPro mount, I did electrical tape each one of these just so the grip on the mount itself would hold just a little bit better. And I have these on each side. So on each side of the boat, looking back, I have just a homemade Scotty rod holder camera mount. And these have worked great for me. They drive great too. So like when I'm driving down the road, they're not wobbling, so on and so forth. Then obviously we have the main boom part. So we installed a piece of plywood down there and we screwed a bunch of brackets in so we could mount this to that front bench seat right there. And it is literally an identical thing. I'm pretty sure that's literally just a big, thick broomstick handle. And we electrical taped the whole entire thing. We installed a mount up top for the GoPro, and as well, we put like 6 or 7, maybe even 8 brackets right down next to those waters. And so this is just exactly how I set up for the boat itself. So looking back down the boat, you can see both of the you can see both of the camera mounts, one there and then one there on each side, and then obviously the main one. So we have 3 angles right here, 1 rod, 2 rod, and then obviously everything else is right here getting looked down on by the boom camera up top. Now, let's get back inside, guys, and let's talk about just some of the extras that you can use to make your videos that much better. All right, guys, we're going to talk about 2 extra things that have been key factors to making my videos just improve. And one of them is simply just my iPhone 15, okay? My iPhone 15 takes every single thumbnail photo I take, and I put it in the 4K setting. And the pictures come out absolutely amazing in my mind. And then they could be better, obviously. This is not a $3,000 camera. But a nice 4K photo and a good clean thumbnail when it comes to a fishing thumbnail, I feel like is very important. In the iPhone 15 or a Samsung phone, anything with a good camera that you can get up close and take a nice clean photo with is going to be a great option and a must-have on any fishing YouTube channel. Now, this is definitely not necessary, but it is something that has, in my mind, been a lot of fun to use, and it has helped my channel out a ton in just the watchability of my actual videos. So a big thing is my DJI Mini 3. It's not even the newest version. It shoots in 4K, and I can get up in the sky, I can go around my boat, and I can capture really amazing drone shots for really cool B-roll segments in my videos. This is obviously just an extra, and so with all the GoPros and the drone, I put this kit together, guys, all the GoPros, the camera, over a couple years' time. I'm not rich by any means, and so putting this stuff together has been a lot of fun for me, but it's also taken a lot of time. I'm just showing you the basics of things that you can really utilize and tools that you need to have a successful YouTube channel and to feel like you're doing it the right way. Once I got the drone, it really made me feel, wow, like I'm actually making cool YouTube videos now. You know, I don't get a ton of views all the time, but my videos do look really good to me, and I feel like they're only improving day by day because I have a lot more stuff at my disposal, and I'm learning a lot more when it comes to shooting videos, talking to the camera, making that camera your best friend. What's up, guys? What's up, bro? And having tools like the drone to get sick B-roll footage. All right, guys. So these are the things that you are going to need to utilize and use to make videos while fishing out on the water. Okay, so you saw the mounts on the boat, and then obviously another big thing for the bank anglers is a tripod. Just like this one right here. This is literally, that was literally a Walmart on tripod, super cheap, and it's very effective. It's done amazing things for my GoPro, and every time I go bank fishing, I'm utilizing a tripod. So let's break down the list really quick. GoPro, 1 or 2 GoPros. If you have a boat and you want to buy more, 4 GoPros is an amazing start, so you can capture absolutely everything, or you have a backup one just in case something happens. Then you have the batteries and the USB-C cables that are going to power those GoPros all day long. Then you need a microphone, because good audio is super important for fishing videos, especially when your back's turned to the camera, you're sideways, they can't see your face, but they can still hear everything that you're going through and experiencing while you're talking to the camera, as well as catching those fish. So a good mic and a good receiver, if you know of one that's good for you, that's amazing. I like the DJI mic right now, and I'm sure in the future I might use something else, who knows. But audio is definitely a very key factor to making a good fishing YouTube video. Then the tripod, the mounts, you saw the mounts on the boat, all very important things that are going to utilize and capture and hold my GoPros while I'm out there fishing on the water. Then the final thing is simply just keeping your cameras out of the weather, the sun and the rain, and so you're not wiping lenses all day and your cameras aren't overheating. As well as the settings, guys, the linear standard 4K is all I run on my GoPros, and then if I want to make any color corrections, I do it in Premiere Pro when I'm all done with the video. So thank you guys so much for tuning in to this probably boring video, but if you've ever wondered what it looks like or what it takes to go out and shoot a fishing YouTube video, these are all the items that I utilize every single time I go out. The drone, the cameras, the batteries, the cords, the settings, and the umbrellas I use every single time I go out. So thank you so much for tuning in to this Walking on Water tutorial. I hope you guys make the decision to go out and start your own fishing YouTube channel. Catch you in the next one.